Now that The Boys has ended, let's move on to their next project, and it's a prequel series. Not a way to say this is the end of the show, but then again, once you establish that, oh, your series is doing well, spin-offs galore. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Dear Kid, the Overview, back again with another video. So we actually have our first trailer for Vought Rising, which, not gonna lie, it's kind of funny how even though The Boys was presented in theaters, they showed off a post-credit scene that actually was the trailer for the show. And when I watched it on Amazon, I was like, okay, is this gonna be the post-credit scene, or is this like a new thing coming? And nothing until they said, you know what? Here's the full trailer in HD, so you can stop watching that recording. As for The Boys, I do plan on talking about it, but I feel like the way I'm going to be doing is a bit long term because I do want to talk about actual aspects of the show I liked in the beginning. Some of the things this final season did where I'm like, yeah, it's not as big and epic as I thought it was, but then again, it is kind of like this show is more realistic to where people expected actual Marvel DC style and game style sequences at the very end where I'm like, you got to remember that these guys are just humans injected with powers. None of them are gods, none of them are actual supernatural beings. They're just regular people with powers. And did you guys really expect a Man of Steel type of fight after this? As for this series, we're actually going to be going deep into the past of Soldier Boy, his beginnings, and also the fact that I'm like, okay, his inclusion in season 5, I feel like was needed. But then again, I feel like the way they actually had him go for it this season, I feel like, yeah, instead of him actually being brought back to be Homelander's number 2, I feel like they actually kind of used him for a certain purpose, and I feel like one episode specifically showed enough. And a bit of contradictory to where in season 3 it was like, but wait, this is your first team. So you're telling me that there was a different team you knew back in the day, but when you got injected? And I'm like, okay, did they actually make this up for this season, or is this gonna be where okay, this is where we're gonna deviate from the source material and we're gonna be doing our own thing? Because episode 6, I believe it was a series where I'm like, okay, so you established that this is going to be a tie-in to the prequel show, and everything here feels like dialogue that would have made sense if this came out first. But I feel like if we're gonna watch Vought Rising, we're gonna watch that, then watch this episode. Like, you know what? I kind of do understand. Personally, I don't care that much, but then again, it's Soldier Boy. I love Jensen Ackles, and funny enough, that character is the reason why I wouldn't even say why. I feel like season 3 works because that character didn't make the most of that season. And it's funny that that character was the reason my brother started watching it. And the fact that I was like, you're going to talk about Soldier Boy right when you see him because he didn't know him as Dean from Supernatural. Where I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why I appreciate who that is. But then again, he was like, nah, you don't get it. That's Red Hood. And then I realized, oh my God, he did play Red Hood and I completely forgot about it. Amazon's been doing well with those superhero properties. So let's take a deep dive into another series. Well, in that case, let's get to the trailer.
You know, if you're working on something, maybe I could help. I want to fight for the flag. I want to be
Bomb site,
a hero.
who was just introduced. And Stormfront, who in this series is going to be Liberty.
God blessed us with these extraordinary heroes.
Strange things happening every day.
So he's almost like Luke Cage. Oh, he has green eyes.
There is a brighter future. All we need to
There's
do
Dean.
is take it.
A small tease, but it tells you everything you need to know about this show. With the show being a prequel, I know we have a certain set of boundaries where I'm like, okay, everything that happens in the show, depending on who's who, some of these people are going to make it, some of these people are going to die. And funny enough, I feel like this show wouldn't be exactly like The Boys in a case where I'm like, yes, I know The Boys is going to be a bit of satire, but then again, I feel like with the way the show is set up in the 50s, you can tell that, and also I feel like I'm allowed to say this because it is an adult subject, that a majority of these heroes are going to be racist. And we already have a super racist on the team, so in this case, yeah, all these people are going to be, I wouldn't say ex- I wouldn't be exaggerated to the point where I'm like it's the 50s, but then again, the same way we saw Soldier Boy, the same way we saw a couple people like Gunpowder, especially where I'm like, yeah, they're a little bit racist to other people, and the fact that it's old school racist, I'm like, yeah, that blonde lady tells me that she's gonna be mega offensive. And I wonder how Soldier Boy is gonna play into all this because we did get a little bit of his backstory in season 3 for a brief mention where he was like, yeah, I've been doing all these jobs. My dad saw me as a quitter. He saw me as a nobody until when I got injected with Compound V. I feel like, oh, I'm a hero. I'm actually doing something, actually being a person. But he saw as like taking a shortcut. Even with all that power, his father still saw him as nothing. And it kind of shaped the way he was, where he had to toughen himself up. And to the point where he actually had his own team and actually became sort of like not Captain America, but more like an asshole version. I would say Captain America. And we get to see Vought with their first human test trials because you got to remember in this series, we already had Compound V. Later seasons introduced this new element called Temp V, but then again, the final season actually introduced something where it was called V1, where I'm like, so is this the original version of Compound V, or in this case, I would call it as like the original Super Soldier Serum, where it actually gave Captain America his powers, and whoever actually injected themselves had not exactly the same effects, but it was mostly like, oh, only these specific people were chosen to actually gain this power, and some of them would come out good, some of them would come out bad. Or in this case, I feel like yeah, there were subjects that were actually able to make it through the trials. Like in one of the scenes, you see somebody getting injected with Compound V, but it seems like oh, he's not actually going with the effects and he's actually being stronger and everybody's trying to take him down, but it feels like it's not going to be penetrated. That's a weird thing too because it's been inconsistent with the way these soups could be taken down. Because in season 5, it's kind of weird that soups, certain ones where I feel like, okay, you can't die easily because of a knife. And it's kind of funny the fact that some of them have been taken down by easily, I wouldn't say punches, throws, laser beams, where I'm like, so we established early on that bullets, knives, all that it can't do anything to you guys, but powers against powers actually do more damage. I hope that's not the case here, and I hope none of them die easily just by bullets. Like I know the boys has gone to a direction where I'm like the first 3 seasons I feel like were perfect, actually translating the comic into a new fashion. Season 4 and 5, I feel like they actually delved a little bit more into the realism, where I'm like, okay, this was the real world, but depicted in the superhero genre, but I feel like yeah, it kind of lost track to what it originally was. But for this series, I feel like if they wanted to, because I don't think it's going to be taken into that direction, I feel like this show is going to be almost like akin to what happened in Captain America: The First Avenger, where it was like, oh, we get to see the reintroduction of Captain America into the MCU, where it was like, oh, we get to follow this history. But something tells me I feel like if they were to cater to that specific genre onto this, I feel like it would be like a satire of those series and also origin stories to the fact where I'm like, okay, Vought was a small company that they focused on certain products. And once they found that element of superheroes where it was like, okay, we can inject people with this power, but who knows whether or not this could have a failsafe or whether or not it would work to where, oh, we had to start these trials. And once they found the formula to actually perfect the heroes, they would actually use Compound V to inject more people to be powers. We've seen Soldier Boy as a side character, but hopefully he could actually make it to a main character in this series and whether or not he can helm a show because I thought, okay, if he had his a Soldier Boy show with his own crew, okay, that would make a little bit more sense because it would be payback. But I feel like, yeah, we're doing a whole original set of stories, and I kind of like the throwback with his mask because if you don't know the comics, there are 2 versions of Soldier Boy. One of them where he was just a guy with no powers, he just had an army helmet and mask, and he died instantly. And I hope the show is actually good because I feel like, yeah, the boys ended, and now that you don't have anything else besides this, and also possibly the Mexico spinoff, where I'm like, is that still going? Because I hear it's in the works. And also, it kind of missed out that we lost season 3 of Gen V because of this. Hopefully, this series ends up being good. Alright, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All my social media is down in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.